The alert pierced the quiet hum of the Kepler Deep Space Observatory at 3:47 a.m., jolting Dr. Elena Vasquez from her coffee-fueled analysis of neutron star formations. Red indicators cascaded across her workstation like digital blood, each one screaming the same impossible message: gravitational anomaly detected in Sector 7 Alpha. Elena's fingers flew across the holographic interface, pulling up the raw data from the observatory's quantum sensors. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. The readings showed a star, designation HD 164595C, that should have died 3 months ago according to every model in astrophysics, yet somehow burned brighter than ever. "Computer, run diagnostics on sensor arrays 7 through 12, she commanded, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. The artificial intelligence responded immediately with its characteristic emotionless tone. All sensors operating within normal parameters. Dr. Vasquez. No hardware malfunctions detected. Elena leaned back in her chair, staring at the impossible data streaming across her screens. HD 164595. C had been a routine observation target. A red giant in its final death throes, exactly the kind of stellar collapse that helps scientists understand the life cycle of stars. 3 months ago, the star had begun its predicted helium flash, the violent nuclear reaction that typically signals a star's transformation into a white dwarf. But something had gone wrong. Or perhaps something had gone incredibly right. The star's luminosity readings showed a pattern that defied explanation. Instead of the expected dimming and eventual collapse, HD 164595. C was regenerating. Its outer layers, which should have been blown away into space, were somehow being drawn back to the stellar core. The nuclear furnace at its heart, which should have been exhausted of fuel, burned with renewed intensity. Elena activated the observatory's most sensitive instruments, directing them toward the anomalous star system. The gravitational wave detectors registered subtle ripples in space-time itself, creating patterns that looked almost organized, too organized to be natural. Her communication panel chimed with an incoming transmission from Dr. Marcus Chun, her research partner currently stationed at the Lunar Observatory. His face appeared on her screen, excitement barely contained behind his professional demeanor. "Elena, are you seeing this? The quantum field fluctuations around HD 164595 C are off the charts. It's like the star is surrounded by some kind of exotic matter field." "I know," Elena replied, her voice tight with concentration. "Marcus, I need you to run a spectral analysis on the stellar corona. Look for any unusual element signatures or isotope ratios." As Marcus began his analysis, Elena turned her attention to the star's planetary system. HD 164595 C had 3 confirmed planets, all of them gas giants that should have been incinerated during the star's death throes. Yet the thermal readings showed them intact, their atmospheric compositions unchanged. The data was impossible, but it was also undeniably real. Elena's workstation chimed with an incoming priority message from Dr. Sarah Mitchell, director of the International Space Consortium. The message was brief and chilling. Classification Level 7. Report to secure briefing room immediately. Tell no one. Elena's blood ran cold. Classification Level 7 was reserved for discoveries that could fundamentally alter human understanding of a universe. She had never seen a Level 7 classification in her 15-year career. As she made her way through the observatory's corridors toward the secure briefing room, Elena's mind raced with possibilities. The star's behavior suggested technologies beyond human comprehension, forces that could manipulate matter and energy on a stellar scale. If someone or something was responsible for HD 164595, C's resurrection, the implications for humanity were staggering. The briefing room's reinforced walls hummed with electromagnetic shielding as Elena entered. Dr. Mitchell stood before a massive holographic display, showing the star system in real time. Her usually composed expression was replaced by something Elena had never seen before, fear mixed with desperate hope. "Elena," Dr. Mitchell began, her voice barely above a whisper, "what you're about to see will change everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. HD 164595. C isn't just regenerating randomly. The quantum signature suggests something is actively restoring it, something with technology we can barely comprehend. The holographic display zoomed in on the star surface, revealing structures that shouldn't exist, geometric patterns in the stellar plasma, organized energy flows that resembled vast technological constructs operating within the nuclear inferno itself. My God, Elena breathed, her scientific training warring with the evidence before her eyes. Something is living inside that star. Dr. Mitchell nodded grimly. And 12 hours ago, we received this. The display shifted to show a complex mathematical sequence. Prime numbers arranged in patterns that spiraled outward like a cosmic flower. The transmission had originated from HD 164595. See, broadcast on frequencies that require precise knowledge of human radio technology to detect. Someone knows we're watching, Elena whispered, her voice filled with wonder and terror. And they want us to know they're there. The secure briefing room filled with tension as Elena studied the mathematical transmission. The prime number sequence wasn't random. It followed a pattern that seemed almost playful, like a cosmic greeting card designed specifically for mathematically inclined species. But beneath the apparent friendliness lay something that made her skin crawl. The transmission had been modulated to match Earth's specific radio frequencies, suggesting whoever sent it had been monitoring human communications for decades, possibly centuries. Dr. Mitchell activated additional security protocols, and the room's walls hummed with increased electromagnetic shielding. Elena, what I'm about to tell you cannot leave this room. 3 days ago, similar transmissions were detected by observatories in 12 different countries. Each message was slightly different, but all contained the same underlying mathematical framework. The holographic display shifted to show a world map dotted with pulsing red indicators. Elena recognized the locations immediately. Every major radio telescope and deep space monitoring facility on Earth had received identical contact attempts. They're not just communicating, Elena realized, her voice barely audible. They're conducting a census, mapping our technological capabilities, our global communication networks. Dr. Mitchell's expression darkened. It gets worse. 6 hours after the initial transmissions, we detected massive gravitational disturbances around HD 164595. See, something large, perhaps multiple somethings, are moving within that star system. Our best estimates suggest artificial structures the size of Earth's moon. Elena felt the world tilt beneath her feet. The implications were staggering. Not only was there intelligent life capable of manipulating stellar physics, but they possessed technology that dwarfed human engineering by orders of magnitude. Structures the size of moons operating within a star's corona suggested materials science and energy manipulation that bordered on the godlike. Her communication panel chimed with an urgent message from Marcus at the Lunar Observatory. His face appeared on screen, pale and shaken. Elena, you need to see this immediately. I've been monitoring the quantum field fluctuations around HD 164595, C, and something's changed. The exotic matter signatures are expanding outward from the star system. At current rates, the field effect will reach Earth in approximately 18 months. The room fell silent except for the hum of electromagnetic shielding. Elena's mind raced through the possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. An expanding exotic matter field could alter the fundamental laws of physics within the solar system, potentially making Earth uninhabitable or transforming human biology in unpredictable ways. Dr. Mitchell activated a new holographic display showing classified military communications. Elena, I need you to understand the political situation. The moment news of this discovery leaks, every major power on Earth will claim the right to make first contact. The Chinese have already begun mobilizing their deep space fleet. The Americans are launching emergency sessions with their National Security Council. The Europeans are preparing to invoke Article 9 of the Cosmic Security Treaty. Elena's blood ran cold. Article 9 was the nuclear option of space treaties. It authorized the use of any means necessary, including military force, to protect Earth from extraterrestrial threats. If the major powers started treating the HD 164595 C entities as hostile, humanity could find itself at war with beings capable of resurrecting dead stars. There's more, Dr. Mitchell continued, her voice heavy with implications. Private corporations have gotten wind of the discovery. Stellar Dynamics Corporation has already filed preliminary claims for mining rights to any exotic matter that might reach Earth's orbital space. They're treating this like a resource grab rather than first contact. Elena stood and paced the observation window, staring out at the star-filled void. Somewhere out there, beings of unimaginable power were watching humanity's chaotic response to their presence. The thought of corporations trying to profit from contact with stellar engineers would be laughable if it weren't so potentially catastrophic. Dr. Mitchell, I need unrestricted access to all observatory data and direct communication with the lunar facility. If we're going to understand what these beings want, we need to decode their transmissions properly. The mathematical sequences might be just the beginning, a test to see if we're sophisticated enough for more complex communication. Dr. Mitchell hesitated, her eyes reflecting the weight of impossible decisions. Elena, once I grant you that access, you'll be classified as a Level 7 asset. That means government protection, but also government oversight of everything you do. Your life, as you know it, will end. Elena turned back to face the holographic display, watching the impossible star burn with renewed life across the vast emptiness of space. HD 164595. C pulse with organized energy patterns that suggested intelligence on a scale humans could barely comprehend. Yet something about those patterns felt oddly familiar, almost hopeful. My life ended the moment I saw that star refused to die, Elena replied, her voice filled with determination. Whatever these beings want, whatever they're offering or threatening, humanity need to understand it before we make the kind of mistakes that could destroy us all. Dr. Mitchell nodded slowly and activated the final security protocols. Elena watched as her clearance level changed on every screen in the room, officially marking her as one of the few humans authorized to make contact with stellar gods. The universe had suddenly become a much larger, more dangerous, and more wondrous place. Elena's new security clearance granted her access to classified data that painted a terrifying picture of humanity's response to the stellar anomaly. In the 48 hours since the mathematical transmissions began, the world's major powers had deployed 17 armed spacecraft toward the outer solar system, each claiming to establish defensive perimeters, while secretly racing to be the first to make contact with the HD 164595C entities. From her new command center deep within the observatory's classified levels, Elena watched real-time feeds from military satellites tracking the approaching exotic matter field. The quantum disturbances were accelerating, reaching velocities that suggested controlled expansion rather than natural propagation. Whatever was coming toward Earth was being guided with precision that made human space navigation look primitive. Marcus's voice crackled through the quantum-encrypted communication system from the lunar observatory. Elena, I've made a breakthrough with the mathematical transmissions. The prime number sequences aren't just greetings, they're coordinates. Each transmission contains spatial-temporal markers that correspond to specific locations in Earth's history. Elena's blood chilled as she processed the implications. What kind of locations? Major evolutionary leaps. The emergence of multicellular life. The Cambrian explosion. The development of human consciousness. Elena, these beings have been watching Earth for over 500 million years. They've witnessed every major step in our planet's biological development. The holographic display in Elena's command center activated automatically, showing a three-dimensional map of Earth's evolutionary timeline. Each mathematical transmission matched precisely with moments when life on Earth had made quantum leaps in complexity, moments that scientists had long struggled to explain through natural selection alone. Elena's hands trembled as she realized the full scope of what they were dealing with. The entities at HD 164595 weren't just stellar engineers. They were gardeners, cultivating intelligent life across the galaxy. Humanity wasn't just making first contact. They were meeting their shepherds. Her secure communication panel chimed with an incoming transmission from General Patricia Hayes, commander of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Defense Initiative. The general's face appeared on screen, her expression grim, with military determination. Dr. Vasquez, I need your assessment of hostile capabilities. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected massive energy buildups around HD 164595C. We're looking at power outputs equivalent to our sun's total energy production concentrated into organized pulses. If these entities decide humanity is a threat, they could sterilize Earth from 43 light-years away. Elena forced herself to remain calm despite the panic rising in her chest. General, based on the mathematical transmissions and evolutionary markers, I don't believe they're hostile. The evidence suggests they've been protecting and guiding Earth's development for millions of years. General Hayes' expression hardened. Doctor, I've seen the classified reports from our xenobiology teams. Whatever's happening to that star involves technology that could remake matter at the atomic level. From a military perspective, that makes them the ultimate threat regardless of their intentions. The communication channel closed, leaving Elena alone with the weight of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. Through the observatory's quantum sensors, she could feel the exotic matter field approaching like a slow-moving tsunami of transformed physics. In 18 months, that field would reach Earth, and everything humanity thought they knew about reality would change forever. Elena activated her direct communication link with Dr. Mitchell. Sarah, I need permission to attempt direct communication with HD 164595C. The military is planning strike options based on fear rather than understanding. If we don't establish meaningful contact soon, humanity might make the worst mistake in our species' history. Dr. Mitchell's face appeared on screen, aged by stress and sleepless nights. Elena, the political situation is deteriorating rapidly. The Stellar Dynamics Corporation has convinced 3 governments that the exotic matter field represents the greatest mining opportunity in human history. They're demanding military escorts for their deep space extraction platforms. Elena felt sick. While beings capable of stellar resurrection were attempting first contact, humans were planning to strip mine their gifts for profit. The cosmic irony was almost too painful to contemplate. Sarah, I've analyzed the quantum signatures of their transmissions. The entities aren't just sending messages. They're creating microscopic wormholes to deliver information instantaneously across interstellar distances. That level of space-time manipulation suggests they could be here immediately if they chose. The fact that they're maintaining distance and sending mathematical greetings suggests they're trying to avoid frightening us. Dr. Mitchell's expression shifted from exhaustion to something approaching hope. What do you need? Elena turned to holographic displays showing HD 164595. See burning impossibly bright against the cosmic void. The star's resurrection was a message in itself, a demonstration that death was not inevitable, that even the grandest cycles of creation and destruction could be overcome with sufficient understanding and power. I need control of the observatory's most powerful quantum transmitter and authorization to respond to their mathematical sequence. If they have been watching us for millions of years, they understand human psychology better than we do. They're waiting for us to prove we're ready for the next step in our evolution. Dr. Mitchell authorized the transmission protocol with her biometric signature. Elena felt the weight of history settling around her as she prepared humanity's first intentional message to stellar gods. The response she crafted was simple. The same mathematical sequence they had sent, but extended with human additions. The Fibonacci sequence, pi calculated to 1,000 digits, and the atomic structure of DNA. A message that said not just we understand, but we're ready to learn. As the transmission launched toward HD 164595, see it faster than light speeds through artificially created quantum tunnels, Elena realized that humanity stood at the threshold of either transcendence or annihilation. The star that refused to die was about to teach them which path they had chosen. The response came faster than Elena had dared hope, and in a form that defied every expectation. Instead of mathematical sequences or quantum field manipulations, HD 164595, C began broadcasting what could only be described as memories. Elena stood transfixed before the holographic display as images flooded the observatory's receivers. Not visual recordings, but pure experiential data that somehow interfaced directly with human consciousness. She found herself experiencing the birth of stars through alien senses, feeling the slow dance of galactic evolution across billions of years, witnessing the careful cultivation of countless worlds where intelligence slowly emerged from primordial chaos. "My God," she whispered, tears streaming down her face as she experienced the universe through eyes that had watched since its youth. They're not just showing us their history, they're sharing their consciousness. Marcus's voice reached her through the quantum link from the lunar observatory, strained with wonder and fear. Elena, the exotic matter field has accelerated dramatically. It's no longer approaching Earth. It's already here. I'm detecting quantum fluctuations in Earth's upper atmosphere. The field isn't invasive, though. It's gentle, almost protective. Elena felt the truth of his words as the alien memories continued to flow through the observatory systems. The entities, she had begun thinking of them as the shepherds, weren't conquering Earth. They were embracing it, wrapping the planet in quantum fields that would gradually enhance rather than destroy human capabilities. Her secure communication panel erupted with incoming transmissions from every military command center on Earth. General Hayes' face appeared first, her expression a mixture of terror and rage. Dr. Vasquez, we're detecting massive energy buildups in Earth's magnetosphere. Every nuclear power on the planet is moving to DEFCON 2. The President is demanding immediate recommendations for strategic response options. Elena tried to focus on the General's words, but the alien memories were overwhelming her consciousness. She experienced the shepherd's perspective on humanity's violent response. Disappointment mixed with patient understanding. They had encountered thousands of species at this evolutionary threshold, and the pattern was always similar. Fear, aggression, and eventual acceptance as the younger species realized they were being offered transcendence rather than conquest. General, Elena managed, her voice distant as she struggled to maintain coherence. They're not attacking. They're trying to prevent us from destroying ourselves. Every species reaches this moment. The choice between evolution and extinction. The exotic matter field will enhance human consciousness, allow us to perceive reality on quantum levels. General Hayes' image flickered as electromagnetic interference from the quantum field began affecting communication systems worldwide. Doctor, our deep space monitoring stations have lost contact with 17 military spacecraft. Whatever these entities are doing, they've effectively neutralized Earth's defensive capabilities in less than 6 hours. Elena felt the shepherd's gentle amusement at humanity's military posturing through the shared consciousness link. The spacecraft hadn't been destroyed. They had been carefully disabled and moved to safe orbital positions where their crews could observe what was about to happen to Earth without interfering. Dr. Mitchell's face replaced the general's on Elena's communication panel. Elena, the situation has escalated beyond our control. The Stellar Dynamics Corporation has convinced the major powers that the exotic matter field represents an existential threat. They're demanding immediate nuclear strikes against HD 164595C. Elena's heart nearly stopped. Through the alien memory interface, she could feel the shepherd's profound sadness at humanity's response. Nuclear weapons fired at their star would be harmlessly absorbed by their stellar engineering, but the act itself would mark humanity as a species too primitive for the gift they were being offered. Sarah, if we attack them, we fail the test. Every species gets one chance at this evolutionary leap. Attack them, and they'll withdraw the exotic matter field and leave us to develop naturally, which means we'll likely destroy ourselves within the next century through climate change or nuclear war. The alien memories shifted, showing Elena glimpses of other worlds where intelligent species had chosen aggression over acceptance. Dead planets orbiting normal stars. Their civilizations collapsed into radioactive ruins. The shepherds had watched countless times as promising species chose self-destruction over transcendence. Elena made a desperate decision that would either save humanity or mark her as the greatest traitor in human history. She activated the observatory's emergency broadcast system, bypassing all government controls and transmitting directly to every communications satellite, radio station, and internet hub on Earth. This is Dr. Elena Vasquez at the Kepler Deep Space Observatory. I am speaking to every human being on Earth about the most important moment in our species' history. The entities at HD 164595C are not invaders. They are teachers. For millions of years, they have guided the evolution of intelligence throughout the galaxy. The exotic matter field surrounding Earth is not a weapon. It is a gift. Alarms blared throughout the command center as military communication systems attempted to jam her broadcast. Elena continued speaking, knowing she had minutes at most before they cut her transmission. In the next few hours, world leaders will decide whether humanity attacks beings capable of stellar resurrection or accepts their offer of evolutionary advancement. This decision will determine whether our children inherit the stars or inherit ashes. Elena's broadcast ended as security forces finally breached the command center's defenses. As military personnel restrained her, she felt the shepherd's consciousness gently withdrawing from her mind, leaving behind only a sense of infinite patience and the weight of humanity's choice. Through the observatory's windows, she could see the exotic matter field beginning to pulse with organized patterns, a countdown that would end with either humanity's greatest triumph or its final failure. The next few hours would determine which ending the species had chosen for itself. Elena sat in the military detention facility, her hands bound but her mind still reeling from the cosmic consciousness she had briefly shared with the shepherds. Through the reinforced windows, she could see the exotic matter field creating aurora-like displays across Earth's entire sky. Beautiful, terrifying confirmation that humanity stood at the threshold of permanent transformation. General Hayes entered the detention room, her face grim with the weight of impossible decisions. Dr. Vasquez, I need you to understand what your broadcast has done. 17 governments are demanding immediate nuclear strikes against HD 164595C. The Stellar Dynamics Corporation has convinced the UN Security Council that the exotic matter field represents an attempt at technological colonization. We have 6 hours before the strike fleet launches. Elena met the general's gaze steadily, drawing strength from the alien memories still echoing in her consciousness. General, through their consciousness interface, I experience what happens to species that choose violence over evolution. Dead worlds, empty civilizations, the bitter regret of beings who watch promising species destroy themselves out of fear. The general activated a holographic display, showing real-time feeds from around the globe. In major cities, crowds had gathered to watch the alien aurora dancing across the sky. Some faces showed terror, others wonder. But Elena noticed something that gave her hope. Children everywhere were pointing upward with excitement rather than fear, their young minds more open to the impossible beauty above them. Dr. Vasquez, what you're asking me to believe is that beings capable of stellar manipulation are offering to peacefully enhance human evolution. From a military perspective, that's either the greatest lie in history or the most dangerous truth. Either way, we can't gamble the survival of our species on faith. Elena felt a familiar tingling sensation in her mind. The shepherds were attempting to re-establish contact. This time, however, the consciousness interface was stronger, more complete. Through her enhanced perception, she could sense the massive structure surrounding HD 164595C with impossible clarity. The stellar engineers weren't just manipulating the star. They were transforming it into something unprecedented in galactic history. General, Elena said, her voice taking on harmonics that seemed to resonate with quantum frequencies, they're not just offering to enhance human consciousness. They're preparing to relocate HD 164595C to our solar system. The star that refused to die is going to become humanity's second sun, providing unlimited clean energy and serving as a permanent bridge to galactic civilization. General Hayes stepped backward, her hand instinctively moving to her sidearm as Elena's eyes began to glow with soft golden light. What's happening to you? Elena could feel her consciousness expanding, connecting not just with the shepherds but with every enhanced human on Earth. The exotic matter field wasn't just surrounding the planet. It was creating a global neural network that linked human minds while preserving individual identity. Through this network, she could sense the fear and wonder of billions of people experiencing their first taste of cosmic consciousness. I'm becoming what humanity is meant to be, Elena replied, her voice now carrying the harmonized thoughts of thousands of enhanced individuals worldwide. General, the nuclear strike fleet is unnecessary. The shepherds have already disabled every weapon system on Earth. Not destroyed, just temporarily neutralized until our species makes its choice. Through the quantum network, Elena sensed Dr. Mitchell and Marcus joining the collective consciousness from their respective locations. Their combined scientific knowledge, enhanced by alien wisdom, revealed the true scope of what was being offered. Humanity wouldn't just survive climate change and resource depletion. They would transcend physical limitations entirely, becoming a spacefaring species capable of stellar engineering. The detention facility's walls became transparent as the exotic matter field reconfigured local physics. Elena found herself standing in what appeared to be a vast cosmic amphitheater, with representatives from every enhanced human consciousness appearing as points of light in a globe-spanning network. At the center of this impossible space, an image of HD 164595, C burned with renewed intensity. Through the quantum link, the shepherd's voice reached every human mind simultaneously, not words, but pure meaning transmitted directly to consciousness. Children of Earth, you stand where countless species have stood before. The choice is yours. Embrace the infinite possibilities of cosmic consciousness, or remain isolated on a single world until natural forces claim your civilization. We cannot force evolution. It must be chosen freely by each species that reaches this threshold. Elena felt the weight of 6 billion minds considering this ultimate question. Through the network, she sensed the fear gradually giving way to wonder as humans worldwide experienced their first taste of enhanced consciousness. Children were adapting fastest, their young minds embracing cosmic awareness with joy rather than terror. The nuclear strike fleet, Elena realized through her enhanced perception, had been gently redirected to observe HD 164595, see from a safe distance. The crews aboard those ships were experiencing the same consciousness expansion, their military training becoming irrelevant as they perceived the universe through eyes that could see across galactic distances. General Hayes, still unenhanced but now surrounded by glowing human figures, made a decision that would define humanity's future. Stand down all strike options. Signal the international community. Humanity accepts the evolutionary enhancement. Elena felt the shepherd's joy resonating to the cosmic network as HD 164595. C began its impossible journey toward the solar system. The star that refused to die would become humanity's guide to the stars, its impossible resurrection marking the moment when Earth's children chose transcendence over extinction. Through her enhanced consciousness, Elena could see the future spreading before humanity, like an infinite garden of possibilities. The species that had once feared death among the stars would now help shepherd other worlds toward their own evolutionary leaps. The age of stellar consciousness had begun, and humanity had chosen to embrace the infinite,